I'm going to record this right now. I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I'm starting to take my life into my own hands a little more. I'm going running, which means I've gone twice. I've like booked out a whole bunch of, for a while I was like, I had a Chrissy Mayer podcast going out like twice a week. And then I think like a lot of other people got scared and stopped doing everything. I just got off a Zoom podcast with a woman who owns a restaurant in Tarrytown, and her name's Julia McHugh, and she owns Horse Feathers. And I was talking about her, how she's like, yeah, she's basically just been using her common sense and staying open instead of listening to all the celebrity chefs with restaurants who have completely shut down. And I was like, look at you. You're like, you smell like a libertarian.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. I'm glad.
Yourself. Yeah. So
I have gone kind of online crazy. I literally go live like, I don't know, 12 times a week. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I do I have two different brands, right? I have my super cool Sharpe brand, right? And that goes live 3 to 5 times a week.
Wow.
And then I have the Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live.
Okay, I think that you were drinking something else now, and I was like,
that would be kind of cool. I'm okay with that. Look, I'm libertarian, whatever you like, right? But
how about a libertarian White Claw hour?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Libertarian White Claw hour. That is my next one.
Yeah.
So, but that one goes live 4 times a week, and then I do some type of podcast at least 3 times a week. And now because I'm running for the VP slot in the Libertarian Party, I'm doing some type of ask me anything or debate or something 3 times a week. So I spend so much time looking at a camera. It's insane. I've forgotten what people look like.
Oh, it's weird, right? There's so much I want to talk about. What do you think of the recent extension?
It's a disaster. It's horrible. Why would what we don't understand here, and this is the thing that, do you mind if I get political on this?
Please do.
Okay, good. Here's the biggest issue. We're not preparing ourselves for the next one, right? That's more important. We are so worried about the Band-Aid now that we're not preparing ourselves for the next one. Just imagine for a second if we decide that every time a virus hits, shut the economy down. That's the answer from now on, shut the economy down. Well, if I'm our enemies, I'm Iran or Russia or China, whatever, I'm not going to make nuclear weapons. That's dangerous. I'm not going to do that. I'll just make some kind of virus, give my people a vaccine early, and then release it. And the Americans will shut their economy down every 2 years, and they're going to be a disaster.
And look how we just roll over in every facet of business.
If I had a business, if I had a restaurant, or if I had a store or something, I would stay open. I wouldn't care. I would put together what I think are good rules for keeping my people safe.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't force anybody who wants to come to work. You don't have to come to work. I'm not forcing you to come to work. If you feel unsafe, or maybe you have a condition or something, or maybe someone in your home is over 80 or something, you're afraid to go, please keep the people safe who want to be safe.
Yeah.
But if I want to take my chances, the question becomes, who owns my life?
Oh,
Chrissy, who owns your life?
It's really, really scary. And
yes.
In the short term, I think a lot of people are going, oh, this is great. If we keep going every so often, I'll get $1,200. But it's like, it's really scary. I feel like the government is trying to like bait us, and like just at first it was like flatten the curve. Now it's like flatten your bank account so they send in on government handouts.
Yeah, well, there's the issue, right? The biggest issue we're finding is we just took it. And the only people who didn't take it were the people who we thought were crazy a year ago, who was going, government's bad. Well, they're right now, right? We thought they were not. No, they were completely right, right? And we get mad. Well, they came out with having guns. Remember that? Well, we can't.
Oh,
They've got guns. Don't do that.
That's one issue that's totally squashed. It's like more people buying guns in the last few months than ever.
Yes.
More people have turned on the gun issue. Like,
well, here's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and protest and bring your guns. Guess what? You don't get arrested.
Really?
Ever notice that? When's the last time you saw people go out with guns get arrested? Never.
Well, I've heard people make it a race issue, that because white people went out to protest with their guns, they were not arrested because they were white.
Can you imagine if it's LA and a bunch of black people get out there and have guns and protest. There's fire in the streets. It's fire in the streets. Of course you would do that. I mean, look, it's a terrible look. And I got to admit, the protesters.
Do you think white people more so get away with
100%?
With
the data is in. That's kind of how that works. The data is in. Look, and the reason isn't because, and again, I'm gonna get political again. I know your show is supposed to be funny. I may not be being funny.
No, this is my podcast. This can be political.
Oh, okay, good.
Not wet spot. This is like, you can do your Larry thing.
All right, I'll try to tell a joke here or there if I can, but I'm not that good at it. But anyway, so no, the reality of it here is, if you look at the police system, right, it isn't the cops that are individually racist. That really isn't the case. Are there racist cops? Of course, but there's racist everything. There's racist teachers, truck drivers, everything. There's racist, you name it.
Trying to make all of our teeth white.
See how they are? God. I think, and they don't like them being yellow. Think about that.
That's racist.
That's racist right there, right? They don't want them to be brown.
Tea and coffee.
They don't want them to be brown or yellow.
Yeah, stop selling these tooth whiteners. Come on, what's your agenda here?
I mean, what are they gonna have armbands next around the tooth whiteners? Terrible.
Yeah.
This is embarrassingly bad. I've never thought I'd sit here and insult dentists, but I just did. Okay.
Same with eye doctors. They want our eyes to be red. They're like that. You need eye drops so that they, They
don't want our eyes to be red. They want to turn them white.
Yep. Big eye drop right there.
Look at that. Look at that. It's all part of a conspiracy to make things whiter. I had no idea. Okay. Well, you know what? Your podcast is amazing. I've learned so much already. That's it. But my point being, I'm sorry.
Yes, your point. You had a point.
It's the system that kind of creates the racism, right? And what I mean by that is, when you have a war on drugs, say you have an average cop, guy who goes into the academy. He goes to the cop academy. He's not trying to be a bad guy. He's not thinking, oh, I can't wait to write tickets and beat up black people. He's not thinking that. He's thinking, I want to do the right thing for my community. I want to service the community. I want to enforce the law. I want to be a good guy. That's what the average cop is thinking. Of course they are, right? Then they get in, and then they find out, okay, go off and enforce the drug war. But enforce the drug war in a way that doesn't get the mayor yelled at, that doesn't get the police commissioner fired. Enforce a drug war that allows us to use civil asset forfeiture to gather a bunch of money and cash, right? Okay, how do I do that? I've got to go to poor and immigrant communities. Poor and immigrant communities don't have lawyers. Many of them don't vote. They have no political power. So if you're hammering them all day, they have no authority. You go to some rich area, instead of hammering them, they call the mayor. They donate. They vote. You're fired. You can't do that. But not just that. The war on drugs is run by capturing money and seizing goods, right? That's how it is. The rich don't carry cash. So you can go up against the rich. There's no cash. Who carries cash? Immigrants who don't trust banks.
Right.
Small business owners in local communities that all have cash, right? People who don't have bank accounts, meaning people who are on public assistance.
Work, off the books.
People who work off the books, and people who sell drugs. That's who has cash.
All the most fun people.
Yes. So you got to hunt where everything that's fun is illegal. So you've got to go hunt there. So now you've got a guy who went into the academy, no more or less racist than anybody else on the planet. But now for the last 10 years, he's been literally hunting in brown and black and immigrant communities. So what does he think after 10 years? Well, if you're brown or black, you're bad. Of course he does. Not because he's a bad guy, because that's what he's been trained to do for 10 years.
Yeah.
End the drug war, you would end at least half of the racism off the bat in the police force immediately.
Wow. And there's also so much human and sex trafficking tied to drug trafficking too. Like they go hand in hand, all the underground tunnels. I don't know how much of that you're into, but yeah.
Am I into underground tunnels?
Are you aware of the underground tunnels?
I'll give it a shot if you think it's something I should know about, Chrissy. I mean, I'm open, but I'm just saying. It's not my thing usually, no.
Well, yeah, they discovered a bunch of tunnels that went from San Francisco to Mexico to Tijuana.
Yep.
And just small enough to like crouch down and like you can push a cart, but also like I'm sure they would put kids in there too,
So imagine if you were able to actually end the drug war, make it legal, then on top of that, end the prohibition on sex work and make that legal. It goes away. It goes away.
And a lot of these pedophiles would get caught and
You could focus on actual pedophiles, not just Johns who are making an agreement with somebody to have sex.
Yeah.
Right? You could actually focus on pedophiles.
Keep the real work and the people that are clean and
yes, but not just that. I mean, this is going to sound horrible, but I'm just being forward. Whatever fantasy or fetish you may have, there is probably an adult person who is prepared to do that fantasy or fetish for money, right? So you don't have to find an underage child. There is probably an adult who will voluntarily, with an exchange of money, carry out that fetish that turns you on, whatever that thing is.
Probably on Groupon,
Probably got a Groupon. Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
So you make that stuff legal, you save a whole lot of lives, you save a whole lot of hassle, and you get people working the way they want to work.
Yeah.
100%.
Larry, you ran for New York governor. How would you have approached COVID as governor?
Oh my God. So how many hours do you have, Chrissy?
We can go at least an hour.
All right. So let me see if I can do it. There were basically 6 issues with COVID off the bat, right? Doctors, masks, hand sanitizer, ventilators, testing, right? Did I get that right? And beds.
And White Claw.
Well, yeah. And beds. Those are the 6, right? Those are problems. Every single one of them was hampered by government, hands down.
Wow.
Every one of those. Let me explain what I do as governor to make sure it's clear. And you can watch. I talked about this, by the way, months ago. And no one wanted to hear me because Larry lost the election. So obviously he's an idiot.
Obviously, you don't know anything. Yeah.
I don't know anything. I lost the election. So step 1, the second I see this leave China and go to South Korea, it crosses a border and I go, oh, this is now international. It might come to us. At that point, the first thing I do is I rescind all distillery laws. Why? So now people can make hand sanitizer if they want to. I then literally encourage all my local groups, my local churches, my local VFWs, my Knights of Columbus. Hey, if you guys want to make hand sanitizer, go ahead and make it. But not just that. I then tell them.
We got this from Stu Leonard's. They've been selling
Look at that.
Last couple months, and we put one of these on. We just squirt each other down just for fun.
I'm in the wrong house.
Yeah. We squirt each other down for fun. By accident, Frank shot his kid in the face with it. It was great. It was fun. But yeah, Stu Leonard's makes their own sanitizer.
Thank you.
But it took how long for them to start?
Thank you. That's my point, right?
Yeah.
My point is that would have started a whole lot earlier. But then I go one step further. I also then rescind any sales tax for hand sanitizer in the state, allowing now the local communities to make some money off of it, right? Your local church, your local VFW, your local American Legion, Knights of Columbus, Elks Club. Now they can begin to make a little cash off of it, right? So now that begins to happen. Lightly, but it begins to happen. Now people start going, maybe this is important. But not just that. Now I rescind any rules, the Department of Building rules on keeping beds and cots in open spaces. Why? Because once you do that, again, local churches, VFWs can now have open areas to have bedding. Yeah. Why? Because if you're in a household where you have someone who's older or maybe compromised immune system on chemo, you might want to go work, but you don't want to bring home COVID to them. Okay, sleep in a church. FaceTime home, sleep in a church, go back to work. Shower in a church, go back to work. Come home with your mask and your gloves on and boom.
Yeah, the healthy people in the household can keep working.
Yes, exactly. And that can be supportive. Still not done. Then I use government for what is the best thing it can be used for, which is a centralized repository for information, right? I don't mind it being, the 911 or 311 call. It's fine. So then I present to everybody, here's how the CDC and FDA say you should make a mask. Here's how you should make everything. Here it is. Go do it. You want to make masks? Go make masks. Again, selling masks.
Yeah, people are selling them on Etsy. But it took, again, how long? People had to figure it out themselves.
Yes!
It's like a seamstress being like, oh, I know this pattern, but it could have been out there right away.
100%. And again, I rescind sales tax on it, allowing local people to sell. I also don't enforce any gouging laws. I allow people to gouge. Why? If you begin to gouge, people won't hoard. If they don't hoard, everyone has some. Not just that. Let's say someone gouges. Some company decides to sell masks that cost whatever, 10 cents for $1, whatever, right? They make a bunch of money. Well, guess what? They have a lot of money, which means they don't mind donating the masks to the people who need it. They could now donate to all the hospitals because they made a killing on the idiots who wanted to hoard masks.
Do you think gouging is better than putting an item limit? Like you can only buy 2 of these at once rather than selling these for, I don't know, $50 each?
I would rather allow companies to gouge because some will and some won't. And now if you only want to, you'll go to the store that allows you to get 2 cheap.
Right,
But
and if
you
you're
want
the only,
6,
if you're gouging
you'll get
too
2
much,
there and
people
2
aren't going to,
expensive.
yeah, if you're gouging too much, they're going to go to the other guy. So
That's
it's
correct.
like, it corrects itself.
And if I do, again, the key is no sales tax, which means anyone can sell them. That's why gouging doesn't work if you rescind sales tax. If you keep sales tax, no one can sell unless they've applied for the sales tax license, right?
Okay, right.
So it holds everybody back. So now if I'm the only person in the neighborhood who sells masks, I can gouge the hell out of my neighborhood. But if instead there's no sales tax, anybody can sell them. The
And they're not
gougers can't work.
beholden to just one supplier.
Bingo. That's why you rescind the sales tax. It makes the gouging work. I'm sorry, am I going too deep on this?
No, you're good. I just want to make sure that, like, yeah, I think I represent like the average person who doesn't know a lot about this stuff, but you're putting it in a way that I can understand, which means I know most people can understand what you're saying.
Excellent. Now, next thing I do is I rescind all of the rules on licensed medical personnel in New York State. Right now, if you know this, if you're licensed in Connecticut, you can't work in New York State as a medical person. Yes, against the law. No, now it's okay.
Now it's all right.
I'd have done that 3 months ago.
They didn't lift that
4 months ago
either.
Come whenever you want to come. I've got the biggest city in the nation right here with a situation to where the average density is something like 25,000 people per square mile. Come one, come all. Come on in. All good. Still not done. I'm now going to tell my attorney general, you are not to prosecute anyone who breaks any intellectual property and or 3D printing laws as long as they are printing either tests or ventilators, allowing people to print them and make money. Again, what am I going to say? Rescind sales tax, allowing people to sell those important things as they want. But Larry, some of the tests didn't work. Yes, we would have found that out 4 months ago. Not now. We would have found out 4 months ago which ones work, which one don't. And then we would have started making them. We would have had them already.
So what you're saying is like your average like STEM teacher at a high school in the city who has a 3D printer, they could hypothetically be printing ventilators and tests.
Why not?
Yeah, and then that's another way to get them out there. That's
correct.
How many more people who can make them.
And here's the best part. If that begins to happen and someone knows that high school teacher Jane Doe is making ventilators or making tests, there's going to be some banker investor goes, ooh, wait a minute, what? And is going to write her a big check and say, keep printing, keep making.
Why would they do that?
Because they're going to make money on it if she's selling them.
Yeah.
Someone's going to do that. Obviously.
So they're funding this person. They could be like, oh, it's Jane Doe sponsored by Chase, right?
Bingo.
Right. Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely. Right. So if Jane Doe, if she's making just one 3D printer, all she can do is make one at a time, whatever that is. And she's a high school teacher. She doesn't know how to do all this business stuff, right? Of course. Yeah. She's a science genius and she knows how to do that. Awesome. Now in comes some guy or gal who says, I got cash. Let me buy you 6 more printers.
And they want to help, so it works out.
Yes. Or they want to make money on selling it. I don't care. Or they want to do both. Or they want to put their name on the side of it. Right? So they want to brand each of these ventilators. I don't care.
Who cares? Yeah.
As long as my loved one gets a ventilator, I don't care how or why.
Yeah, it could be an Air Jordan ventilator. In fact, those could be a collector's item.
Come on, how much money would you make after it's over? Tons. That'd go on eBay for like $1 bazillion.
You might not be able to dunk.
But you could get a ventilator with his name on it.
But you weren't able to dunk before this either.
That's exactly right. So, but I would begin to do that, right? So as that happens, here's the reality. When that begins to happen, up front, very few people would have paid attention. Only some would have. A couple would have jumped on board. We would have had a cool Yankee mask or a cool Joker mask or something. And it would have begun to build the culture of being protective.
Okay.
The culture of making things work. That's what would have happened. And now when it became serious, we're ready to rock and roll. Boom, 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 boom. There's no shortage of beds. There's no shortage of ventilators. There's no shortage of tests. We would have had them all as we became more serious, all popping in. On top of that, I tell every business, here is what the CDC and the FDA believe is the right way of running your business. Here is our list of what we believe. I then tell every New York State-based thing, like the New York State Doctors Association, Please provide what you believe is correct.
Okay.
Then I don't send out my cops and my inspectors to hammer people and give them $500 tickets. I instead send them out to give government stamps on all the places that actually follow my regulations. So I shut nobody down.
Okay.
Instead, I simply go to your store or your so-and-so. Do you follow the rules you did? Government stamp.
You get a reward. You get a sticker, or you get like the restaurant ratings who get an A. You
Yes.
get an A, you get a COVID A or whatever.
Correct. Yes. Now the consumers get to decide, I'm not going in. That guy got a COVID F. I ain't going in. Or that guy got a COVID A. I'll go in. And now if we have multiple people doing, not just government, but also maybe the AMA, etc., you might have 2 or 3 of them. Now, any store that lies, that's fraud. Hammer them.
Okay.
That's someone's life they put in jeopardy. That's fraud. They get hammered. And I mean jail time. I'm not even joking. You can't joke with people's lives like that.
Right. Not at a time like this, right?
No.
People are already scared.
That fraud, that guy's going to jail. And I have no problem saying that. No fraud. But if you don't want to have anybody stamp, you don't have to. Your neighborhood will trust you or it won't. And if it doesn't, you'll shut down. I don't have to shut you down. You will shut down because nobody's going to go in your store. What happens? Now we begin to set up protocols so we understand what works and what doesn't work. Letting people know what happens, you will see it will change. How do I know this? Sweden. Sweden didn't shut down their economy.
Not at all.
And they're still surviving. But more importantly, now people know if a virus pops up, Sweden doesn't shut down. They are no longer, a biological weapon is no longer a viable weapon against Sweden.
Because they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
It's still a weapon against us. But not just that, now we can survive and figure out what's the right protocols to use. So when the next one comes, we shift right back into those protocols.
Do you think there will be a next one?
Of course. Of course. No doubt. 100% yes. No doubt. So what if it's worse than this one?
Right. And a lot of signs point to this one was made in a lab to be a biological weapon.
Maybe.
So,
well, it's working, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's destroying our economy. Don't you understand that we have a divided society right now, worse than we've had since the Civil War?
Yeah.
And we have this COVID crisis. After 2020, and I don't mean to scare people, I just want to make a serious prediction. There is going to be sporadic violence.
Really?
Of course.
Why?
Are we going to be open or not? Maybe, maybe not. Trump is going to win or lose.
Yeah,
if he wins,
that's going to set off those people.
It sets the left off. If he loses, it sets the right off.
Oh, yeah.
We already don't have jobs, desperate, despair, and weapons. There will be sporadic violence.
And people are like, wow, they really are starting. Their savings will be gone. They really can't provide for their families. It's like they're going to get desperate.
Yes, they're going to be the divorces, broken up families, lost businesses, lost careers.
Stand-up comics.
Yes, absolutely. But look, what is the most dangerous thing in the world? Someone who has nothing to lose.
Wow. Yeah.
When you've taken everything from someone, what do you have to lose?
Their life, maybe. Yeah.
They don't care about that. It's something else. Every single time we've had a mass shooter, it's been someone who's felt there's nothing to lose.
Right.
Every time. Well, we're setting up a field where we're going to have lots of mass shooters. We're setting that up. It's a farm for it right now.
Why do you think no one thinks about that?
I don't know if they do. They might.
They
don't.
Might not. Oh.
I don't know. But the problem is we have a massive amount of Americans who have Stockholm syndrome, who literally love their jailers. Love their jailers. And by their jailers, you mean? Government. Yeah. They love their jailers. The Supreme Court, and I think it was Wisconsin, literally said, these lockdowns are unconstitutional. How can you order people to not live their life? Healthy people. Yeah. Yes. How can you order them to not live their life? I mean, literally, our divorce papers from the UK said life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And we went, nah, just the life part. That was the whole deal. That's it. We said no to liberty and no to pursuit of happiness, just the life part. But the biggest problem I have is since 9/11, leadership in America is no longer, we could do it. Leadership in America is, shh, go home. I got this. I'm your savior. I got this. That's not good leadership.
Depend on me for everything. You can't do anything without me.
Yes.
Look to me every time anything happens.
This is literally a cult or like an abusive spouse. That's what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But a good leader says, I need you more than ever, Chrissy. Come on. Let's do this.
You all have strengths.
Come with me.
We all have strengths. Like it took, I remember when it first started happening that there was the first designer that volunteered to make masks. Everyone's like, they're a hero, but it's like, it shouldn't have taken them figuring it out. It should have taken the government to be like, oh, let's look at everybody who can make a mask right now. Boom.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There's so many people who could do things. Go do them, right? And the funny part is most people, the vast majority, want to.
Yeah.
They really want to. If you ask the average person, can you help us do this? The average person says, yeah, what do I do? Can you make some masks? Yeah. I mean, I can watch Netflix or I can make some masks. I'll do both. I'll watch Netflix while I'm making masks.
It's better than sitting around feeling hopeless and helpless.
Yes. This is the worst part, right? When people feel helpless, when people feel hopeless, that's when despair sets in. That's when the hardest thing, which is self-destructive behavior, kicks in. Self-destructive behavior hurts you and those who depend on you and those who love you. Nothing but bad. And the
alcohol sales are like 200% right now.
Say again?
Alcohol sales are up like 200% right now.
We all want to escape.
Yeah.
We all want to escape. So let's self-medicate, right? Or let's go into a fantasy world of TV or movies or books or something. But let's escape, right? Let's escape. I get it. We don't look, when you have it to where everyone's hopeless like that, we're all self-destructive. Before you know it, you're hurting the people you love. You're hurting the people who depend on you. And it makes it work. It's a cycle. And what people don't realize is suicide, I'm not joking, is contagious. That's a fact. Do your homework. And more people commit suicide, the more people commit suicide.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
Because it's a way out.
Yeah.
I know it sounds horrible. It's a way out. And the problem also happens with suicide is when someone you love, when you lose someone you love, it's terrible, whoever that person is. But the worst way of losing them, hands down, is not being killed in a car accident or by a terrorist. It's suicide.
Because it makes you feel like, wow, I could have helped them.
Yes. Yeah. The guilt that is on top of someone when someone you love commits suicide. Oh my God, it's crushing. And now you have to bear that for the rest of your life and people around you. What happens when someone brings it up? Chrissy, how come you didn't do that? Why didn't you help your friend? Now you're worse. Now you want to end this pain. And you're like, I'm going to follow my friend. I'm done. I can't handle this pain either. And then your other friends go, oh, why did I say that thing to Chrissy? Now I feel so horrible because I said that thing to Chrissy. And now I got to live with that the rest of my life. And then I'm ready to off myself also.
You got to make a lot of Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Oh my God. The Kool-Aid thing. Why do you do the Kool-Aid thing? Because you think there's nothing left to lose. Mm-hmm. Once you think there's nothing left to lose, why bother living?
Have I thrown you off track of there's 6 things that you would have done differently? I just want to make sure I'm letting you explain all the things you would have done if you were governor.
I don't know. Did it feel good to you?
It did feel good, but then I know I went on tangents. I started doing bits. I made jokes. So
I like it. Bit away. Joke away. All good. No. The issue is I want to bring up one thing to be clear. Everyone talks about, well, there's no libertarians doing a pandemic. The reverse is true. That is nothing but a lie. That's reverse.
Wait, who has said this? What is it?
I've heard people say this. There's no libertarians in a pandemic. Now we need to have
no libertarians in a pandemic?
Yes, the idea is that everyone now resorts to government when there's a pandemic. There's no libertarians.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, the reverse is true. The reverse is true. Who's actually showed up?
That more people are fed up with with like A and B. Yeah.
Yes. The answer is not government. It never was government. It was a government that would actually try to engage the local population. Right? During World War II, we did that. Right? During World War I, we did that. Right? Come on, guys, gals, let's get busy. Right? Remember the was it Rosie the Riveter? Right? Get the woman out there. She's got the muscles. She's gonna rivet. Right?
Like get wives would go work in factories and I don't know, making stuff.
Go do stuff. That's what good leaders say. Instead of going, shh, shh, my child, stay in the house and do nothing. I got this covered. Embarrassing that we've even gone this route. All I can hope is that the economic devastation that's going to come from this, which will be far worse than anybody killed by the COVID. And be clear, COVID's real. People do a black and white thing. It's not black and white.
Right.
COVID is real.
Of course,
it does hurt
virus.
People.
Yeah.
It is a real virus. And economy matters too. The biggest killer and destructive force in humanity is poverty. Gandhi called poverty a crime against humanity. Poverty is the worst. India itself, just as India, we're talking about Gandhi, India has about 50 million people, give or take, who live literally hand to mouth. If they don't if they don't work that day, they don't eat that day. Period.
50 million people.
50 million. If they don't work that day, they don't eat that day. How are we going to deal with those people? And there are hundreds of millions of them throughout the entire world. India, obviously a very large country. There's about 50 million just in that country. But add up all the other 190 some odd countries. That's hundreds of millions of people who literally will not be able to eat. And I don't mean won't have a nutritious breakfast. I mean won't eat, like nothing. No eating. They will literally starve to death.
Wow.
And we're like, oh, but, I'm a governor and I'm worried that you might be mad at me, so I'll shut everything down. But the worst
part... Do you think they're doing it because they're scared? Like, what's their motivation for doing it?
Of course. This is how it works. They say, I'm doing everything to protect you. And here's it's a no-lose situation if you're a governor. If I'm the governor, I lock everything down. If you don't die, see, I saved your life. If you do die, I did everything I could. It's no lose. Of course they do that. It's no lose.
The catchphrase, yeah.
Either way, they win. So of course they lock it all down. They don't actually care about you.
Wow.
When I was running for governor, I think the thing that surprised me most, and many things surprised me, but one of them that really did was realizing how many people who are elected officials who actively hate their constituents.
Oh, like how Ellen hates her fans.
Yes, like that. Who actively
loathes
their constituents.
Retarded. Yeah.
Yes, and it's sadly common. Wow. I wish that wasn't, but they hate them, and they don't really care if they die. They don't care if they're sick. They don't care. They care about helping their cronies out. They care about keeping themselves in power. That's all they care about. The people are just nothing. I mean, think about the stimulus bill they passed, the $2.2 billion.
I'm still waiting for my check.
The vast majority of that money was to cronies.
Wow.
Companies, organizations. Very few went to people because the people, who cares? Throw them some crumbs, and then Trump will say it was China. Biden will say it's Trump, and then each side fights each other, and we both win either way. Who cares?
Wow. It seems Republican states and Democratic states have had different approaches during this lockdown and now also during the sporadic opening up again. What is that about?
Sure. The reality of it is, and this is unfair, right? The media is purposely trying to put left versus right. It actually isn't. It's just rural versus urban.
Okay.
Right? There's actually no such thing as a blue state. Every state is actually red, and are there deep enough cities that turn the rest of it blue?
Really?
All
so
the cities are blue.
Every state is red, but the cities turn it blue.
Correct.
Interesting.
Yes. So the more rural the state is, the more red it is. There's not enough blue to make it red, right? If you go to look, New York City, and all the upstate cities are all blue. Everything else is red.
Yeah.
Right. Syracuse is blue. Buffalo is blue. Right. Binghamton is blue. New York City's blue. But everything outside of that's totally red. Every state's that way. If you go to the South, Mississippi, the big cities are blue. So that's how it actually works. So it isn't actually red state versus blue state. It's rural versus urban. And if you live in an urban area, of course you're going to open up slower. You've got people packed on each other. If you're in a rural state, of course you're going to open up different. I mean, you can't see your neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? When you walk outside your house, you're like, where's my neighbor? I don't know. Let's drive 3 miles. Ah, there's Bob. Right? That's how you find
All
your
they do
neighbor.
is social distance. Yeah.
You're by default social distancing. That's how it works. So I think that's what it actually is. It isn't red versus blue. It's urban versus rural.
Because it seemed to me like, yeah, Michigan, California, like especially like I know LA County just extended their lockdown till
New York City
July.
also.
Yeah, and here too. So
absolutely, we just keep extending, which is the wrong answer.
Yeah.
It just makes things worse. And here's the worst part. Look, New York City is never going to recover the way it was. It's just not impossible. Never. It's not going to recover. It's never going to break the 8.5 million mark. I don't think ever again. I think forever. I don't think it's ever going to break it. And the reason why I say it is the value of New York City. New York City is basically a communist state. So how does it survive? Because the value of it overcomes the communist state that it is, right? 16 million people in the metro area, a mecca for talent. 1/3 of New York City residents are not born in the country. Another 1/3 aren't born in the city, which means so much talent comes to that city. It's insane, particularly female talent. Amazing.
Particularly comics.
Present company included.
Where did you find that out? That's particularly female.
Just look at it. You can see it. Look at where all the female CEOs are, the female officers are, female-owned businesses. They're
Models go there.
Yeah. Models too. Absolutely. So all talent comes to New York, right? So you look at that. Okay, great. But now when all of a sudden I realize that I don't have to be in New York to work. And that's what this is showing. A lot of people I know who are wealthy, I do a lot of coaching for my day job when I'm allowed to work. I coach people who tend to be very wealthy, either law, tech, or finance.
What do you coach them in?
They've left the city.
What do you coach them in?
Leadership.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm a leadership coach. So I do training in leadership. I coach in leadership. That's what I do, right? Mostly emotional communication as a general rule. You can tell how emotional I am. So yes. The issue is many of them have gone to their second homes. They've gone to Jersey. They've gone to Long Island. They've gone to upstate New York. And now they're doing this. They don't want to come back. Why would they? Why would they want to come back? Why would you want to get back in Manhattan, get in a subway, cross bridges that cost $19 to cross? Why would you want to go through the garbage of that? Why not? I'll work from home. They're not going to want to come back. But not just that. What if it's you? If you don't have to go back into the city and play the subway game, why the hell would you?
I do kind of miss getting jerked off on the subway.
I know you'll miss that, but you'll watch some videos. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, you'll watch a video too. You can still get your fill of that. You can. But the reality is, once that begins to happen, all the people who service them begin to collapse. Shoe shine, diners, dry cleaners, insert thing here. They begin to decline.
Catering,
cabs, Uber, buses,
catering,
catering. Yes, they all begin to collapse, right? And now we've been so bad, we're destroying the only thing we have left, which is tourism. And now we've destroyed Broadway. Frozen just went under.
Oh, Frozen under?
Went under. Yes.
Like bankrupt.
Yes, they're not bringing Frozen back. It's finished.
Wow. And I think they canceled I know they canceled like Lincoln Center and the plays for the rest of the year.
No, Frozen's done. Not coming back.
Wow.
Come on.
I didn't even see it yet. I didn't see Frozen the movie. I just thought it would be there forever.
And you know what? It should be there forever. Cats was on for like 35 years or whatever it was. And that's part of what Broadway in New York is. You can show up and spend a couple of days and see the magic of look, visiting New York City is awesome. Living, but visiting is amazing. And you should visit New York. It's an amazing tourist city. And we're destroying that too.
And so now all these performers that there's no gigs, there's no other gig to go do, even though they sign, even if the contracts were null, it's like they can't, there's no performance opportunities. They probably had to move back to like the Midwest or wherever they came from. And like now what? What's going to be their motivation to move back?
Why? They're going to head back to wherever Iowa.
Do like local theater. Yeah.
They're going to do local theater. They're going to put it online. They're going to try to get a Netflix special. Netflix will give almost anyone a special. So, yes, they'll get a Netflix special. So, yes, they'll get a Netflix special. And they'll say, why don't you come to New York anymore? Why? Or worse, they'll go to Canada or something like that, or Mexico or someplace that's more open. This is a self-inflicted wound that we should be ashamed of, but sadly we're not, because when I say it, people get mad at me. Oh, you care about your 401k. Oh, you don't care about lives. No, I do care about lives. I care about someone's right to pursue happiness.
Right. If we really cared about lives, there would be no cars sold ever. There would be no fast food ever. There would be
no cigarettes, no alcohol, nothing.
Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
There would be, all the other things that can potentially kill you. So that's why that's bullshit, is because more people have probably died in a car this year than COVID.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the issue we realize is the idea that our executives are supposed to keep us safe from everything is a new thing. Happened after 9/11. 9/11 was a turning point for our country. It was a horrible, terrible turning point. I was in the Marine Corps, as you can see by my picture here. I was in the Marine Corps.
Which one are you?
Hold on. I am. Hold on. I got that guy right there.
Oh, you could have pointed to anybody, I guess. But
I know, but that is actually me. So yes. In any case, you wouldn't have known, huh? Oh, it's that guy.
It's Edward Snowden. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the point being, when I was in the Marine Corps, I took an oath, the same oath that every executive takes, to defend and support the Constitution, not to defend and support every single American life, no matter what. That's not what we do. The issue is you have to accept that you own your own life. Look, if you're 80 years old, and I give this example all the time when people say, I don't care about lives. My mother and my father both died of cancer, both of them. And if you know anyone who died of cancer, you know it often takes a long time to die. It's very rare.
Yeah, my mom, it was like a 3-year horrible process. Yeah.
Correct. A terrible process that for both my parents took about 2 years each.
Yeah.
When my father died, he wanted to live. He was like, do whatever it takes. Cut me open. They gave him a colostomy bag because he had a gastrointestinal cancer. Give me chemo. I don't care. I want to live. My mom, when she died, she was like, no, I want quality of life, not quantity. I want a good life. And if that means I die early, I don't care. She took my daughter, her granddaughter, out to a park, to an amusement park when she was on chemo. She put a mask on. Well, she's like, I don't care. This is her view. If I died in an amusement park, pushing my daughter in a swing, I'm good. That's the life that I want. I want to spend time with my granddaughter. And if I die doing that, all good. Both are right, because they have a right to live their life the way they want to live. And if you're 80 years old and you've got a pre-existing condition and you say, I'm fearful for my life, I want to sit in my basement and survive watching Netflix, good on you. That's your life. If you go, no, I'm going out. I'm going to hang out at a restaurant. And if I drop dead eating baked ziti, then I drop dead eating baked ziti because I love baked ziti. Good on you. It's your life. You own your life. I don't. We've forgotten this.
So other people own our lives now.
The government owns our life now. It's correct.
How do we turn that around? Can we?
You have to vote Libertarian. See, I had to put that plug in.
Is there any way another group can provide the needs that our Libertarian can?
Well, the reality of it is Libertarians don't actually provide it, right? The goal of, if you remember my campaign, I know it's the only thing you think of daily. But if you remember my campaign, I always spoke about the idea of breaking the monopoly of government, right? Allowing something else to also do the role. We have an example of this. Post office, FedEx, UPS. If you go back 50 years, there's just the post office, right? And some couriers here or there. But that's about it, right? Now, there's multiple people who deliver packages for you, right? Amazon delivers packages on their own now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So you have to allow other people to also do the job of government. Once you break the monopoly.
Wow. Okay. That's a good example.
Yes.
Yeah.
The monopoly of government either gets better or goes away. Both are fine. And it also allows the government to collapse. If the post office, if this was 75 years ago and the post office collapses, we're in trouble. If the post office collapsed today, it would suck, but the others would pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Right? It would still suck. I don't want the post office to collapse. But if it does, we can survive because we have multiple ways of getting packages across our country.
So how do you spread out government? How do you?
By allowing, I'll give you the perfect example, the FDA. As I mentioned in my idea of COVID, you give the FDA guidelines and New York State goes by and gives a stamp. But also So does other organizations also can give a stamp.
Okay.
So if the FDA can't do anything, these other organizations pick up the slack.
And yeah, like if they have some scandal or whatever, they're I don't know, that something's holding them up. Yeah, work can still happen.
That's correct. And another part is there's no punishment, right? The FDA sucks. It literally sucks. It's a horrible organization filled with cronies who just give big money to big people.
Aren't they like trying to pay off farmers to quit farming right now?
Always. The FDA is terrible. It's a horrible organization. Literally, remember this. 80% of all addicts came from a prescription drug authorized by the FDA.
And
our addiction problem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
And they probably know that.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
They authorized it.
Mm-hmm.
What's their punishment? Nothing.
Hmm.
Their punishments give them more money. That's their punishment. But what if there are multiple organizations? Their punishment would be nobody would use them anymore for opioids. They'd go to other organizations for opioids. They might still use the FDA for projects or for other procedures and such, but they wouldn't use it for opioids. They clearly suck at that.
Yeah.
They'd go someplace else.
Yeah, they're ODing people. They're
literally. I'll give you an example, right? And people say, well, without the FDA, the world would end. Look at health food stores, natural food stores, tons of stuff that people put in their bodies, in the bodies of their children. And I would ask you, where are all the deaths from the health food stores? There are none. It's a fantasy.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. The FDA has killed and maimed far more people than every health food, natural food store in the country since beginning of time.
Yeah.
Not even quite.
That's where the cures are. The cures are always in nature. The cure for cancer is I mean, Dr. Sebi was working on that like decades ago. He cured people of AIDS and herpes, and then then he was killed mysteriously. So
no, well, remember the FDA is in bed with big business, and big business, there's no money in a cure.
Right.
The money's in treatment.
Keeping them sick. Yeah.
Not keeping them sick, treating symptoms.
Okay.
Right? So I don't want you to change your lifestyle or heal. I want you to survive on my 1-a-day pill.
Yeah, just stop coughing. Yeah.
Yes, just stop coughing.
Yeah.
Here's a pill. You won't cough. So if you stop taking a pill, you're gonna cough again.
Yeah.
So keep taking the pill.
It's like putting a silencer on a baby. Like if like for a trumpet, if that existed for a baby, it's like, well, that baby's still unhappy.
I don't know.
If a baby
could play a trumpet, I think it'd be pretty happy. I'm just saying.
Like just because you can't hear the baby doesn't mean it still doesn't need something.
Oh, I thought you said a baby's playing a trumpet. That would be impressive. I mean,
I know that there's a silencer on a trumpet that makes it softer, but there's no baby silencer.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so the baby's no longer crying, but doesn't mean it's not happy. It's still got crap in its diaper.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So it would still smell bad.
Bad example.
It would still smell bad.
Yeah.
So yeah. Remind me to not make you my babysitter. Yes. So you'll walk into the room. Okay, just make sure. Do you have any masking tape? Okay, you do. Good. I'll be your babysitter.
And rope? Great.
And rope, exactly.
Jello? Oh, Kool-Aid? Yeah, let's do this.
Now we're set.
Yay.
Yes. So anyway, my whole rant on this COVID thing was all to say that there was and still is a libertarian answer. We didn't have to destroy our economy because of it. Sweden is the example of this. South Korea did a pretty good job also because they were ready for it, right? South Korea went through bird flu, SARS, so they knew the protocols. So when it hit them, they're like, oh, protocols. We've done this before. We got this. And they jumped in. And the people, in most cases, volunteered to do it. So did the Swedes. They're like, okay, wear a mask and stuff. All right, we'll do that. That's what we should do. Okay. And a lot of
people would blame Trump because supposedly the Democrats left behind a guide for a pandemic that he ignored. I mean, a lot of people love to blame Trump for everything that happens ever.
It is easy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I got a flat tire the other day. It was Trump.
And you know, I've gained weight over the quarantine. That's Trump again.
Trump.
My muffin top is for Trump. Yeah.
100% his fault.
Do you think, do you think all this, I mean, what would it take for people to, I mean, I think there's a stigma still out there on libertarians. I think maybe the general average person who doesn't like know much, isn't intellectually curious, would think that maybe libertarians are like crazy or weird or niche. Do you think that's starting to go away a little bit?
No, I think all of that stuff's true. Just saying. It's pretty accurate in general.
I mean, crazy in the sense that you think for yourself and you do your own research and I don't know, it's thinking outside the box. And I don't know, do you think that this crisis is possibly opening people's eyes up to the possibility of libertarianism?
Absolutely, no doubt. It is opening up the eyes. Will it make them actually make the shift? I don't know, but will it make them at least see the libertarian ideas as more valid? Yes, I think it will. But still, you look at New York, right? Most New Yorkers is 80% approve of Governor Cuomo, right?
Wow.
He's literally destroying our state. He is destroying our state. You are going to watch, I'm not making this up, I'll predict right now, hundreds of thousands of people in the next 2 years will leave New York State and never come back.
Florida,
Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas. They're going to leave. They're not going to come back. And our budget keeps going up. So taxes have to keep going up. But the wealthy also aren't coming back. Who's going to pay those taxes? The working poor and the middle class. That's it. And at one point, the middle class says, why the hell am I here?
Right.
And then the working poor can't survive. So you have two types. The super poor and the super wealthy who own all the assets.
And then it'll just be the most, like the two extremes.
Yes, it's already happening.
Left. Yeah.
If you've looked into the city, you see a lot of it. There's very few people who are actually what we would have called 20 years ago middle class. Most people are literally 2 months from bankruptcy, or at least going backward. Yes, most people are, right? Or they're doing fine. I mean, like really well. Like they're just fine. It's all good, right? Their lifestyle will change because of this, but there's no chance of losing their homes. There's no chance of going bankrupt. That's not real for them, right? That's one. And I call those people the wealthy or the well-off, right? And then almost everybody else is 2 months from going under.
Which is where we're at right now. 2 months.
Yes, exactly right. And I'm telling you, by the time November comes, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad because we can't just keep writing checks from the government. At one point, we have to default. And they already floated it, by the way. Mitch McConnell already floated the idea of states going bankrupt. And I want you to imagine for a second if New York State goes bankrupt.
Whoa.
Think of all those pensions that go away. And I know
those are pensions of people who have now moved to Florida.
Yes.
And like all around. See,
yes,
I did remember something from your campaign.
Yes, I mentioned the pension bomb. I talked about all this stuff. And everyone thought, Larry's crazy, he's dumb. And here we are. Exactly what I was talking about, right? I talked about the idea of sales tax, the idea of localized government, the idea of getting rid of certificates of need so we can have beds for the people who need beds. All those things, pension bomb, talk about all of them, MTA collapsing, all happening right now. All of it's happening. See, I am a harbinger of doom. That's a bad thing. But I was right on all these things. Now, imagine if New York State goes bankrupt, everyone who has a pension is maybe going to get 30% of the pension. Now, you might say, well, how bad is that?
Where does it go? Does it go into paying off, I don't know, bankruptcy fees? Like, then where does it go? Yeah.
There's a thing called pension insurance.
Okay.
And most pension plans have that, but they pay maybe 30 cents on a dollar. So let's say you live in Florida and you're getting $270,000 a year on your pension, right? Which is not, that happens. So your lifestyle is that of making $270,000 a year. All of a sudden you're making 90, literally overnight. How's that going to go? Right? How's that going to go? That's not going to go well for you. That's a massive change. You're going to be losing your house. You'll be selling your assets.
That's
by the way,
more than half, right?
30 cents, 30%.
Okay, yeah. I'm not good at math.
No worries. All good. But the worst part here of all this was done heavily on purpose. What do I mean by that?
On purpose to fuck the election or to fuck Trump in the election? Like
No. This is the elite versus the non-elite.
Okay.
They don't actually care who wins.
Yeah.
They don't actually care who wins. What actually happens is, and this is true, that you saw this 2001, the dot-com bubble, 2009, the real estate bubble, 2020, the debt bubble. What happens is the people who are elite, and again, I actually showed this on my Sharpe show when I talked about CNN, mainstream media talking about, they knew a crash was coming, but they thought it was going to come after the election this year.
Wow.
They already knew it. I mean, they said it out loud. They knew it was coming. They thought it was going to happen after the election. They didn't see COVID coming.
Wow.
When
Okay.
COVID hit, now what happens in every crash, the people have lots of money, they become liquid. What that means is they sell some of their assets and have cash. They put cash on hand. Why? Because when the rest of the chumps, us, figure out what happens, we struggle at to sell our assets to survive. Sell our homes, our cars, our life insurance, sell our policies.
And then they use that liquid money to buy up your homes, your business, your car.
You got it. That is the reason for the wealth gap. Every time we have one of these, every 10 years or so, this happens, the wealthy buy assets of the poor and the working poor and middle class, and the assets swap.
Wow.
That's how it works every time.
Yeah.
And that's happening now. So
that's what I would do if I was rich. Yeah.
That's why in the beginning, they weren't rushing it. They were saying, don't worry, it's no big deal. It wasn't because they didn't know.
They were all liquidating. That's why wait, is there a connection to that with all of these CEOs dropping out?
Yes, and the senators, remember the senators selling their stock?
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. Just do your own homework. The senators sold stock. The CEOs dropped out. Yeah, they're like, oh, I got to get liquid so I can buy up all the Chrissy stuff.
Get liquid.
Exactly.
Oh,
I got to buy Chrissy stuff. Right? So they all got liquid so they can buy all the stuff up, and the wealth gap continues.
Interesting.
Now, the funny part is we worry so much about the very poor, and we should, but not in a crisis like this. In this crisis, the very poor are already very poor.
Right.
We should always worry about them. But in this case, they're actually not affected that badly. They're already on public assistance. They already have Medicaid, Medicare. They're gonna survive as well as anyone.
Right.
It's the working poor and the middle class that get destroyed.
Yeah.
In this case. But imagine
the people with the fledgling business, the people with like fledgling savings. Yeah.
The people who just got their act together from the last crash. You know, if you're a millennial, and I know you're a nice young 20-something.
Oh,
So I
know
get
younger every year. I know.
I've noticed that.
I think I'm a Benjamin Button.
I am thoroughly impressed. so if you're in that age range where you're like 29, 30, like that age range, 28, something like that, imagine you came into the market, the job market, right after the crash. There's nothing there for you.
Mm.
You struggled. You jumped into gig economy to try to get yourself going. You just started to get things going, and now this comes. And you wonder why the youth love socialism. I would too.
Yeah, I would free stuff.
Free stuff. I've been getting my ass kicked for 10 years.
They weren't able to get their own stuff. Not everybody's a baby boomer that you get a house easily, you know.
Absolutely. So give me some free stuff. I get it. I'm not mad at them. I think it's the wrong answer.
I was too,
obviously.
In college. I was the biggest lefty in college. And
absolutely.
You just grow up, but things are different now.
And the thing is, you would grow up when you began to have assets.
Yeah.
When you began to see things. But if you never get those assets, or you keep losing them every 10 years in the crash, you don't need to grow up, do you?
You've never found your own footing, so it's easier to just lay back down.
Absolutely. And how many times do you expect someone to get back up? It's a lot.
And if they've never felt standing on their own 2 feet and how good that feels, and they've had success doing that, where's your motivation to do that?
Absolutely. So we've set up a system to where they're going to struggle. I don't want them to struggle. It's wrong, right? You got to remember something. 30 years from now, the 20-somethings are running everything. They're running everything. And if we're training them to not have responsibility, training them to rely upon Big Brother, training them to not get up, what kind of leaders are we going to have?
Then the leaders all die. Then what happens?
Well, you know what actually winds up happening?
Everyone who knows something is going to get old and die. And then you're left with I don't know, everyone's 50, still living in their mom's basement. I don't know. I don't know what that would look like.
What it actually looks like is, because there'll be so many people who are accustomed to being sheep, any lion that steps up, no matter how evil or horrible or bad or selfish they are, we will follow. We are setting ourselves up to follow a dictator.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's what we're doing. We're setting ourselves up to follow a dictator. That's how it's working. When people get afraid, they make bad decisions. When groups of people get afraid, they cry for either socialism or a strong man.
Or they cut their own bangs.
This is the worst of all of them. This is the worst. And what happens when you have a leader you follow who cuts his own bangs?
Oh, there's going to be some, and not everyone should have bangs, Larry. Most people should not have bangs.
This is lose, 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 Chrissy. Yeah. I'm just saying, there's no win on this. There's no win here. We are setting ourselves up to worship a leader who has poorly cut bangs.
Oh.
Yes, and the leader probably shouldn't even have bangs. So not only are they poorly cut bangs, they should even have them.
That's the thing, like all the while we were like giving all of our rights away, our ability to stand on our own 2 feet because we were afraid and we thought it was about safety and health.
Yep, absolutely. But in reality, what life is about, and I'm gonna get philosophical on you for a second.
Do it.
Life is about happiness. It's not about that. Life is simply, and this is gonna sound crazy, but really what life actually is, it's a series of joy and pain within periodic boredom. That's what life actually is, right? And we should realize that. That's what life is periodic boredom, and in between is joy and pain. We hope that our life has more joy than pain, but it will have both, no matter what. It's how it works. But if we can understand that everything goes away, no matter what it is, the boredom will go away. Your joy will go away. So enjoy it when you have it, like really jump on board when you have it. And your pain will go away. So bear through it because it will eventually go away. And either become boredom or joy. One of those two will become that, right? If we get that, life isn't about just being healthy. It's about being happy, which can include health. I'm not saying health is not bad, but health is just one aspect of being happy. There are people who are very unhealthy and are still happy.
Yeah. Also, there's healthy people that either have antibodies or could fight off the virus, no problem, that should be back working again. Like it's like you're putting a blanket like idea of health. Not everyone has the same level of health. So it's like, why is everybody behaving when not everybody has the same, I don't know, like health potential? I'm not saying it right, but it's just like.
Yeah, I think you're saying it perfectly. We all are different.
Yeah.
And not just that, if I feel terrible, if I'm locked up, if I have no social contact, my immune system fails.
You're breathing in your own CO2 all the time because you're wearing a mask to bed.
My immune system fails. So no matter what my level of health is, it's lower than it should be.
Because you're scared all the time.
Absolutely. I'm in total stress mode watching CNN as the body count keeps going up. I mean, that's literally what we're watching. It's terrible. So,
when the body count is really just all the deaths that are happening, but they're all being like, oh, we'll say they're COVID, even though this person flew off a motorcycle.
Right, exactly. Well, but when he flew off the motorcycle, he hit a guy who had COVID.
Somebody heard him cough before his head split into 3 pieces.
Exactly, yes. Yeah. I saw a meme that killed me. It said, mass shooter leaves 33 dead of COVID.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
That killed me. I love it. Mass shooter leaves 33 dead of COVID.
There's a lot of funny memes out there. Larry, if people have never heard of you before, don't know where to find you.
They are clearly living under a rock. What is wrong with these people?
I mean, if on the off chance they haven't heard of you and don't already have a Larry t-shirt and mug. For the one person out there who does not actively own a Larry t-shirt and mug, for that one person, let me tell you where you find me. LarrySharpe.com, thesharpeway.com. Sharpe is my cool show, as you can see right here. I've got the swag if you're watching. Yes, I got the swag. LarrySharpe.com, Sharpeway.com, Sharpeway on Twitter, Larry Sharpe on Twitter. You know what? Just Google Larry Sharpe. I'm like everywhere. There aren't that many cool Larry Sharpes. You're very findable.
Cool Larrys, but very few cool Larry Sharpes.
No, there's very few.
Absolutely.
You also I remember I watched the episode where you talked with Stacey Pressman. I forgot to mention this earlier, but like I thought it was really interesting. I mean, like I could definitely see what her strengths and weaknesses were. I'm like, okay, it was fascinating to me because I was like, wow, this is like a buddy of mine that's like running for office. What did you think?
I think I'm glad that we have her. The Libertarian Party doesn't have many people running for office. She seems hungry to do it. The fact that she's a presenter and a comedian is going to help her tremendously. Yeah. I think she needs the most important thing, which most people who get into government need. She needs a good policy team. If she gets a good policy team where they sit back and kind of understand what she wants to achieve and then are able to create policies that will make that happen, I think she'll be a powerhouse. The problem is right now is she's just It's not a problem. It's a good thing, but I guess it's both. She's so far out. She's not running until next year.
She needs somebody to like reel her in and like organize.
Yeah, but it's very early. She's not running until 2021.
Okay.
So she has lots of time to get that policy team together. But right now she doesn't have the policy. So if you talk to her, she's talking more rhetoric than she is policy, which is not a bad thing. But when you get into it, you're going to have actual policies. So once she gets her policy team together, the policies plus her desire, you mix them, you'll have good policies.
Plus t-shirts.
And you'll have t-shirts and mugs. Both.
Yeah.
Don't forget
mugs.
That's
very important.
Yes.
All right, interesting. Yeah, I think we'll all be watching Stacey pretty closely. And yeah, I guess you know, maybe she'll look up to you as a mentor and ask you questions. And
happy to have it. That's why I put her on. I wanted her to feel what it's like to go through that.
Yeah.
And I was easy. They'll be far worse.
Yeah. You're like, this is how you set up in Grand Central and hold a sign. Yeah, that was fun.
Yes, you remember? Absolutely. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do that kind of stuff. Of course, look, campaigning is brutal. It is brutal. And assuming that I win the VP nod coming up here next week, I'll be back to campaigning. But this will be my campaigning now until we open up.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going for VP, and when is the voting for that?
Next week.
Next week.
Next week.
Wow, Frank, did you know that we have to vote next week for Larry?
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. This is only for delegates of Libertarian Party only. This is an internal party vote.
Do we know any delegates? Is Anthony Pellegrino a delegate?
He is. Tell him to vote for me.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Tell him to vote for me. Yes.
All right.
So only internal party delegates vote for this one. You don't have to vote for me until November.
Okay. I'll remember.
Yes. I will bug you. Don't worry.
I'll have to dust off my t-shirt again.
Absolutely. Back out again. Let's do it. I'm there.
All right. So LarrySharpe.com, Sharpeway.com, Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
Yes, of course. I'm on Insta, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
What about TikTok, Larry?
I have a TikTok, but it's not active. I got a TikTok to follow my daughter.
Yeah. That's TikTok is like the new thing. I was telling the restaurant owner earlier that she should do more TikToks because, like, I don't know, it's a way to reach another group of people.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you're doing a lot already, so
I stay busy, but I always make time for you.
Oh, thank you, Larry. Thanks for doing my pod. And when this comes out, I'll tag you and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was great. I feel like this was really fascinating and answered a lot of questions.
And I'll put it on my social media too, so get you some extra views.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Larry.
All right, I'll see you soon.
Bye.